What happens when a late-night comedian goes head-to-head with a former president? Well, get ready for an unforgettable showdown. Jimmy Kimmel recently went toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and let's just say it was a roast of epic proportions. From jokes about Trump's infamous hair to a biting commentary on his policies, Kimmel didn't hold back. It was an all-out comedy barrage that had the audience in stitches. But this wasn't just any comedy roast. Kimmel made Trump's ego his prime target, and boy, did he deliver. The night started with Kimmel mocking Trump's plan to relocate Palestinians from Gaza, Trump's controversial idea to build a real estate development in Gaza, displacing nearly 2 million people, became the punchline of Kimmel's jokes. Kimmel was quick to point out how absurd this plan sounded, suggesting that it was the sort of idea a maniac like the one running the country would dream up. The comparison to the villain from the Saw movies was made, suggesting that Trump was as dangerous as the infamous Jigsaw. He even joked about Trump's vision for Gaza, likening it to the Riviera of the Middle East. It was clear that Kimmel wasn't holding back and had a field day poking fun at Trump's latest idea. But Kimmel's roasting didn't stop at Trump's policies. He wasted no time targeting Trump's hair, a long-standing joke among comedians. Kimmel quipped that Trump's hair was so bad that even his scalp was trying to impeach it. The audience couldn't contain their laughter as Kimmel let loose, calling Trump everything from Grumpy Trumpy to Donnie Diapers, with each jab landing perfectly. But, of course, the real highlight was Kimmel's comment on Trump's skin tone, which he called so orange that it was almost a national emergency. Trump's followers and critics alike watched closely to see how the former president would respond to such a public roasting. It didn't take long for Trump to react, and as expected, it involved his signature late-night Twitter storm. Trump, never one to shy away from an online battle, quickly took to Twitter to fire back at Kimmel. He called Kimmel unfunny and mocked his ratings, which Trump claimed were so low you needed a microscope to see them. It was a predictable response from Trump, whose thin skin has become a well-known characteristic throughout his career. He quickly shifted the focus to TV ratings, as he always does, and used Kimmel's low ratings as another insult. It was as if Trump believed the success of a person's career could be measured solely by their TV numbers. But, in true Trump fashion, his insults were nothing more than tired comebacks that lacked the sharpness of Kimmel's witty one-liners. Trump single quotes S loyal supporters rallied behind him, as expected. They retweeted his attacks on Kimmel and threw their support behind the former president, with all the fervor of fans at a concert. Meanwhile, Kimmel's fans and Trump's critics had a field day. They found themselves watching this comedic showdown unfold like a real-life battle of the wits, and it was clear that Kimmel had won this round. But here's the kicker. Trump's over-the-top reaction only proved Kimmel's point. Trump's tendency to explode at the slightest criticism is well known, and his latest meltdown didn't do him any favors. It was as if Kimmel had poked a bear, but instead of a fierce roar, he got a whiny growl. Trump's tweets got increasingly unhinged, with him comparing himself to historical figures like Abraham Lincoln, claiming that he was the greatest president in history, maybe even ever. Kimmel has said it best. Trump's skin is as thin as his hair, and his reaction was the perfect example of how easily he gets triggered. In the aftermath of Kimmel's brutal comedy roast, Trump's response seemed almost laughable. His Twitter storm was nothing more than a tantrum from someone used to being the center of attention. The fact that he resorted to comparing himself to Lincoln and calling out Kimmel for low ratings only made him appear more out of touch. It was like watching a child lash out after being told no, but instead of taking the high road, Trump dug himself deeper with each angry tweet. What's even more fascinating is that despite being one of the most recognized public figures in the world, Trump still can't handle criticism. You'd think someone who spent so much time in the spotlight would have developed a thicker skin by now. Instead, his fragile ego seems to be his most prominent feature. Kimmel, on the other hand, made it clear that no one, not even the former president, is above a good roast. Kimmel showed us that a well-timed joke can rattle even the most powerful figures. So, what did we learn from this spectacle? For one, that even someone as powerful as Trump isn't immune to a little public humiliation. His online tantrums and constant need for validation through TV ratings have made him a figure of ridicule in recent years. And this latest clash with Kimmel only added fuel to the fire. Trump's inability to take a joke, coupled with his over-the-top reactions, made for an unforgettable moment in late-night television. But perhaps the real takeaway is that even in the political world, humor has power. Kimmel's sharp wit and clever roasts not only entertain, but also expose the cracks in Trump's persona. It's a reminder that humor can be a tool for resistance, a way to call out those in power without resorting to anger or violence. In this case, Kimmel's jokes weren't just funny. They were a reminder that even the most powerful people can be brought down a peg with a well-placed punchline. In the end, this comedic showdown between Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump highlighted the importance of laughter in the face of adversity. Sometimes, all it takes is a good joke to remind us that no one is untouchable. Trump may have the power, but Kimmel has the mick, and with it, the ability to bring down even the most untouchable figures with nothing but humor. So, here's to Kimmel, who proved that sometimes the best way to stand up to a bully is with a joke that hits harder than any punch.